welcome back. I'm the real Salt Snake and welcome to another episode of the Irish Critics. Now, continuing with Superman Week, here is the third installment, Superman 3. Now, I have a confession to make. I have not actually seen this movie fully. I just remember a few scenes in it, and unfortunately those scenes I remember is what I'm dreading today. But I do know that the film is almost universally derided amongst the fans and critics alike. But I haven't seen it in a while. So I wanted to dive in and see what, if it has any good things in it that I can talk about. So, let's get started. This is Superman 3. Here we see Gus Gorman, played by Richard Pryor. Yeah, this is what Superman 3 needed. A comedian, who quite frankly shouldn't be in a superhero movie. It would be like if they put Eddie Murphy into Batman. Not to diss Richard Pryor, folks, it's just like, he just doesn't really fit into a movie like this. But I guess the producers, the Salkinds, thought he was. Anyways, he's a chronically unemployed man who gets turned down yet again. Yes, anybody can be a computer programmer. Just come sign up and make big bucks without any qualifications whatsoever. But it then shows here that he is a bit of a computer genius, without him even knowing it. How the fuck does that make any sense? Oh my god, this is the worst opening credit roll I've ever seen. What on earth is happening? It's just a complete mess of bumbling mistakes, falls and accidents. That I think is meant to come across as funny and comedic. Oh god, now I remember. This is Superman, the comedy film. Be very afraid, people. Be very afraid. So Clark Kent is here asking his bosses if he can go back to Smallville to attend a high school reunion. Oh hey, there's Lois.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Okay, she didn't stay very long, did she? Okay, see you next time, Lois. But wouldn't you know it, trouble is always afoot here. Superman just can't get any days off here without having to save the day. Here, he extinguishes a fire at a chemical plant that was filled with beltric acid. Whatever that is. Oh, and look, a high school reunion party. Good God, this is really exciting stuff. I'm bored now. So here Clark meets a woman called Lena Lang, who is a childhood friend of Clark's. I wonder if she'll be important later on. Back to Gus now, who is then brought up to the CEO, Ross Webster, who is an egomaniac who is totally obsessed with being rich. Wow, such villainy. Here he is with his sister Vera and girlfriend Lorelei Ambrosia. What kind of a name is that? And seriously folks, if you wouldn't think that this is a cheap rip-off for Lex Luthor, you need your fucking head examined. Anyways, his big money-making scheme is coffee beans. And he has deals with many of the South American countries, except for one, Colombia. So he recruits Gus after seeing what a computer genius he is. And he's there to help him solve this little problem. He orders Gus to direct a weather satellite to cause a tornado that will destroy the Colombian harvest. Okay, is this seriously the villain's evil plot? He wants to control the coffee exports of South America. That is his big plan. This movie is horrible! Anyway, Superman manages to stop the tornado and save the Colombian harvest. Thanks, Superman. But this leads me to... Oh, okay. Who the fuck has a penthouse like that? It's kind of cool all the same, but why would you...
Clouds, it was him! With his cape flapping in the... His cape was flapping in the wind! He was flying! He was great! He was just flying around! The cape was blowing in the wind like this! Looked like a flag! And he landed right in the middle of this big plantation!
I think this moment speaks for itself, folks. Anyways, after Superman manages to stop the tornado, it leaves Mr. Webster very angry. So he orders Gus to use the machine to create kryptonite to take down Superman once and for all. Gus tries it, but is unable to locate some, so he therefore uses, tar from cigarettes to create it. Who the fuck wrote this movie? So we see Superman or Clark getting to know Lana again. And isn't she a nice substitute for Lois Lane? Yeah, remember her? The love of Superman's life? She made an appearance at the start of the movie. Anyways, I looked it up, okay? The reason why Gene Hackman and Margaret Kidder didn't come back was out of support for Richard Donner, what the Salkinds did to Richard Donner in Superman 2. Gene Hackman wouldn't return, refused to, and Margaret Kidder, because she spoke out against the Salkinds, they kind of reduced her to a cameo role. Yeah, they sure showed them. Superman is then invited by Lana Lang to attend her kid's birthday party. Isn't it weird how all the women in Clark's life seem to be attracted to Superman instead? Anyways, Smallville instead decide to turn it into a celebration for Superman, in which Gus and Vera, now disguised as US soldiers, give Superman the kryptonite, where it does sweet fuck all.
Thank you very much, General. It's very nice. Thank you.
Superman doesn't wait, does he? He's taking Lana home now where he's going to seduce her. But something is starting to bother him. My God, how do I tell her I have no penis? No, he just starts to feel different. Like having a different side to him, a different personality taking over. For example, not going to save a truck driver that has driven his truck off a bridge straight away. But of course Superman does come to his senses and flies off. Okay, now what? Oh, we're at the Leaning Tower of Pisa now. Oh, no, that is the worst green screen effect ever. Fuck me, that is horrible. Superman is becoming a bit of a dick, isn't he? Over halfway through this movie already, and this film is nothing more than a fucking joke. Okay, so now Ross Webster now plots to control the world's oil supply. So he orders Gus to direct all the tankers in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and have them just sit there. But Gus Gorman starts to feel used and underappreciated.
Because I mean more to you out here doing things for you than sitting in jail doing nothing for nobody.
He then gives Webster a handful of blueprints for this kind of supercomputer, which looks awful, by the way. And Ross makes a deal with him then and there. Well, glad we got that sorted out. Can we guess that there are more shittier moments to come? You bet. Superman then goes on a massive drinking binge, becoming depressed and violent. This results in him crashing into a junkyard where, out of nowhere, he splits in two. The light side and good side. Gee, I wonder if they're going to fight. Stop hitting yourself, Superman. But of course, good always prevails over evil, and Superman does the heroic thing by strangling his dark side. Now, even though this film is bad, I have to say that that whole fight, that whole moment, was actually pretty cool. It was pretty well done, if I had to be honest. So Clark once again becomes the real Superman and flies into the air and sets off to repair the damage his evil self caused. After that, he sets off in search of the ones who did this to him. Superman then makes it to the Grand Canyon where he avoids all those missiles and confronts Webster and his incredibly forgettable gang of evildoers. Damn! Kryptonite! But then Gus suddenly has a change of heart. Because he doesn't want to go down in history as the one who killed Superman. Well, why don't you just say Webster did it? You know, the public would believe that, no problem. He then takes an axe and attacks the computer, allowing Superman to flee. But Superman, well, what about the bad guys? Unfortunately for Vera, I think that's her name, she gets trapped by the computer and becomes a cyborg. Whatever way that works. She then immobilizes her team, but it turns out Supes has a plan. The chemical plant from earlier. He grabs the Beltric acid and brings it back. Jeez, it looks like slime from Ghostbusters 2. So, with the machine destroyed, Superman takes Gus and leaves Webster to be arrested. Upon dropping Gus off, he lets him away with his crimes. Yeah, and even gives him a job reference.
Say, does your boss have a computer in this operation?
Yeah, he got a little bitty one about that big.
Well, you tell him he could do a lot worse than to give Gus Gorman here a job.
Fucking hell. And look at this. Lana Lang has now relocated to the Metropolis area and is now working at the Daily Planet. Oh hey, there's Lois. And that's Superman 3. It's a terrible, terrible movie. What were the Salkinds thinking? No wonder Richard Donner couldn't reason with them. With a film like this, it's no surprise it was a bomb, with the critics and the fans. It's stupid, dull, boring villains, uninteresting support characters. The premise of making the whole film a comedy was just ridiculous, and the inclusion of Richard Pryor as a bad guy was more irritating than funny. Thankfully, the Salkinds were removed from the Superman franchise after this. And yes, Superman did continue. In Superman 4, oh my god, I remember this one a lot better. I think I'm going to need help in this one.
Hello?
Time for an Irish Critics reunion, dude.
Fuck yeah.
So guys, I'm the real Salt Snake, and yep.
What are we actually reviewing?
It's Superman 4. Get over here now. So I'm the... Yes!
Just one more thing.
Get over here now! I'm the real Salt Snake. Till next time.